Big money, welding, fabrication, and manufacturing in 2022. Family, we're right around the corner. So I would like to salute everyone who has made it up to this point. There's a lot of opportunities that's now arising or about to rise up for our upcoming year. I've been noticing that a lot of companies are starting to create programs to actually benefit those employees that actually work for them, especially the ones that actually doing manufacturing and fabrication of a big need, from union workers to um, mom and pop shops to local LLCs and corporations. Like they understand that if you are building a product, it's going to take manpower. It's going to take a team and it takes people. Machines can do certain things, family. Like on certain wells, machines can knock it out. But when it comes to producing certain things, when it comes to like the infrastructure, um, moving goods, transportation, when it comes to buildings and making homes and building communities, we have to know that there's a system that is actually set in place so that way everybody can be able to win in different areas. Like, so coming up, we have noticed this last year, the last 2 years actually, how a lot of companies went out of business due to them not having a strong employee system, not spending their money correctly, not making the right investments, or was getting shadowed, barely getting by. And then once the pandemic hit, it like completely made them change their infrastructure or made them go out of business. And one thing I've been noticing now, I'm in Southeast Arkansas, and there's a lot of manufacturing and fabrication here in welding that I wasn't open to or didn't know anything about in the past. So you have companies out of Dumas, companies out of Monticello, which actually is the two biggest cities in the southeast. I would say Monticello would be one of the biggest ones, and then Dumas, and then you have, I would say Greenville, but that's Mississippi. In the southeast corner area, there's not a lot of big cities in the southeast corner, but Dumas, Monticello, McGee, Pine Bluff would be considered, almost in the southeast. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different opportunities in these rural areas, and most of them, honestly, man, is based on big money. Like a lot of them are doing manufacturing products. They're making products for other products, like making something that goes with something else, from cars to suspensions to trailers. Like I've been noticing it more and more. And the crazy thing is, MIG welding is one of, in my personal opinion, one of the easiest processes to learn. When I got into welding, the first thing that we learned was stick welding. So it was all about learning stick in four positions. Then we went to MIG in four positions. Then I went to TIG in four positions. When I went to school, I didn't learn flux core. I learned flux core actually in the field. But since I've been out now, like this last, I'm gonna say, especially this last 2 years, products is where it's at. And I always stress products over talent. It got to a point where I was making my own products, and the price of the material that I was buying to actually make these products, they went up so high for me. I had to redo everything I was doing. So I couldn't have a big inventory full of all of these products, and they was charging too much, which made me have to charge my customers almost double than what I was charging them at first. It wasn't going to make it. If a person was barely getting 500 and you tell them now I got to charge you 1,000, man, it's kind of like, I don't know if I need it like that, or it's going to push off your customers. But MIG money is where it's at, family. And I just wanted to talk about MIG money for a minute because that MIG welding process, normally on MIG welding, you'll do overhead, you'll do some flat, some vertical down, some horizontal. But on the most shops though, they just doing flat, horizontal, vertical down. Normally three processes. So normally three positions. And one cool thing I love about the wire and about how economical it is because the machine actually feeds the wire. It's a spool and it's rolling. So it's not like when you're stick welding, you got to throw out a rod, grab another one, get it ready, get it start back. That takes up a lot of time. In the MIG welding process, you can actually hit that trigger, you can get position. And so if it's on a moving situation, you can just sit there and wait on it, or you can walk around it or position it or whatever you need to do. So MIG welding is to me, it's easier, but it's also a skill welding technique. So I'm not saying that MIG welding isn't skilled, but I'm saying right now, most definitely MIG welding is a need because it's more economical. You can make more on a big spool of wire, and it's different type of size wire. You got 045, you got 035, you even got a 16th wire. You know what I mean? So it all depends on what you're welding on, what type of thick of equipment it is, if it's heavy equipment. And that's another thing. A lot of structural welding is being done on heavy equipment because the heavy equipment is actually helping with the infrastructure. And then you have equipment done on new manufacturing, like this company out of Dumas, Safe Holland. They actually make truck suspensions, and I wasn't aware that they did that. And there's a lot of fabrication in there. There's a lot of manufacturing and a lot of welding because it's parts that goes to that system, and they sell different systems. And if you think about it, it all goes back to products over talent. Even certain things in welding kind of died off, I say, the last few years. That was more of a like an art and just something that a person might not don't need, but I got a little extra, I buy this design. But now it's more of a need. Things like people that need buildings that need to be repaired or need some RFIs done, some corrections done, or you got transportation. Man, we feeding people from the East Coast to the West Coast, north south. So a lot of these vehicles and trucks go through rough road conditions, climate change. So a lot of these parts and things that are being made are actually helping a greater good. And when you think about MIG welding, it's a process, family, that you can actually learn. You can learn this on the job, but if you have a tutor or a program, you can actually learn this pretty quick, in my personal opinion. I always tell people who haven't MIG weld but has stick weld, if you can stick, you can MIG. You know what I mean? And for the TIG welders, I know you can. If you can TIG, you can MIG. You know what I mean? The cool thing about, like I say, most people sometimes frown on the process because they say it's less skills involved, but it still takes a lot of skills. You have to know about your angle, your wire length, how close you need, your travel speed, your direction, making sure your nozzle is clean, make sure the gas coming out. There's a few things that you have to be aware of. So it's skills that involved in it, but there's a lot of money, family, a lot of money in MIG welding. And I want to specify that because I'm a field welder, and I always say field welding isn't shop welding. Right now, family, coming into 2002, shop welding is going to be where it's at. There's a lot of manufacturers, a lot of plants that actually need some shop welders. So you can actually go in, get you some money, learn some stuff doing the manufacturing in the shop. So MIG welding is going to pick up. From when you got to think, there's so many different things that you can target. From household handrails, staircases. You know what I mean. But when it comes to building parts, though, oh my goodness, when it comes to building parts for companies and equipment that you know people use all the time, it's never going anywhere. So that's why I say MIG money is important. MIG money is one of the easiest money in welding to jump into. I have a course, and in this course I teach 30 hours. I charge $750 for a 30-hour course. And in this course, I do a 30-hour course, and I teach a person how to weld in MIG welding. Normally, it's three positions. Normally, they want to do flat, horizontal, vertical down. And those who want to do overhead, I'm fine with teaching them overhead, but normally it's just three processes or three positions. But we'll learn how to run the bead, how to tie the bead in, and then how to combine metal to do T-joints, lap joints, butt joints, because that's when you get into making processes of fabricating and knowing what it means to have something level, understanding if you tack one side, the heat of the weld actually move it one side or the other. So it's good to tack both sides. You know what I mean? So it's certain things that you learn that can help the process be a whole lot better. But I got to stress, MIG money, family. MIG money is where it's at. Like, it's where it's at right now, especially coming into 2022. So if you want to learn welding, one of the easiest process, get you a shop job, a manufacturing job. MIG welding is where it's at, and you can actually start out decent. Even in this area, they have different. I have seen some welding jobs around the Southeast Arkansas from it start off from like 14 to 17 or I know 18 is some of the price range I've seen here. Boom has actually got one where you can actually, if you're a good MIG welder, you can actually get started out at about $18 coming in from them right now if you can pass their weld test on thicker plate. I want to say is 3/8 half-inch plate, 3/8 and half-inch above you, something like that, 3/8 half-inch, and they actually starting out around $18 right now for their welders. And these is MIG welding, and you be making parts. So you making parts, you're doing some manufacturing, fabrication of the part that go to the other part, so to speak. So like I say, in this area, man, that's good money. If you think about average, I looked up the average rate or the average pay in Arkansas anyway. The average pay throughout the whole state in Arkansas is around $16. So if you're making 16 above in Arkansas, then you're doing more, big more than average. And it said the top 20% makes at least $20 to $23 an hour, and that's the top 20%. And I can say I'm in the top 20, but sometimes you can start if you can. And now think about this: if you can come in fresh, making that middle, man, you winning. You got to think people are like, I remember, family, when I got out of prison, my first welding job, I was making $8 an hour. And now a person can literally get that first job in certain areas, even around here. I can, go to Dumas and say you got a year experience and you good at it, you can go there and get $18 fresh out of it. I didn't make that $10 more than what I made coming out of prison, you know what I mean? But we all got to start somewhere. So I'm saying that's good money. MIG money is where it's at, especially in areas where it's a great demand, where it's not a lot of skill set. And believe it or not, I noticed that there is a great need for welders in this area. I'm in Southeast Arkansas, and MIG welding can open up a lot of doors. But I have noticed some gentlemen I talk to say they're afraid of the sparks, the flames. Man, I don't want to get burned. Or they heard different stories. Man, you gotta have this. I ain't got that. I ain't never went to school for this. But a lot of times you don't have to have a lot of that, family. It just be the system or try to detour you or try to make you feel you got to be the selected, chosen one to have this. And one thing I've noticed that a lot of the companies I went to never asked me for my school experience. Never said, how many years? Okay, yeah, we're going to get you. They'll say, hey, can we get a visual? Can we see how your welds look? Can we see what you can do? Could you pass this test? And majority of weld tests that I've been on has all been physical tests. Drop a bead, do a lap joint, do a TIG, MIG joint, a groove joint, doing some type of bevel, you know what I mean? But honestly, in the field, I have took tests from just straight visual tests on 1/4 inch plate to using 1/2 inch, using inch plate. I mean, doing full passes, multiple passes with flux core, MIG, and stick welding. You know what I mean? I've never took a test actually on TIGging. Majority of the jobs I did, I really wasn't doing a lot of TIGging work just because of the money in the area I couldn't get on. It was more judgment to get into the TIG work to me. But the work I have done in TIG, like I say, it wasn't. It was just a visual test. And now I can still TIG, but I don't TIG as much. I do more flux core, stick, and MIG weld. You know what I mean? But I can do all of them. But lately, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the last few years, MIG slash flux core slash stick welding has kept my lights on, family. It kept the lights on. You know what I mean? So that's why I have to say MIG money, because there's a lot of money, and especially if you are in Southeast Arkansas. If you're in Arkansas, Arkansas does a lot of manufacturing that I wasn't aware of. So you got companies in North Little Rock right now that's hiring, looking for good welders, MIG welders. You have companies in Little Rock, surrounding Little Rock, that's looking for MIG welders, and they paying pretty decent money. You know what I mean? If you can come in and someone paying them, then you got the common sites that do manufacturing up there. But I will say this: there's opportunity. There's in this MIG money. Easy process, family. Something that you can actually learn within a day setting, and then you just have to actually practice, because as we know, practice make perfect. So the more you do it and you do it and you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. But MIG money is where it's at. I just wanted to say that today because I've been noticing the rise of the jobs and the sign-on bonuses and what they're doing to increase pay for other companies. I've seen other companies increase pay for all of their employees because they don't want to lose them. You got to think, if they system can't be fully based upon the shareholders, because if they don't take care of their employees, the company gonna go down, especially if they need the people, they need the bodies. So while we got this climate going on right now, I think we should take advantage of this MIG welding. And like I say, I'm in Southeast Arkansas. So for those who are actually looking for a MIG welding job, and you're in, Southeast, Dumas is hiring right now. They're looking for great welders, and they paying decent money. So you can actually start out making good money. You can start in an area where around here, man, you make anything, you making $15 or above, you win it. So if you can get in, start out at 18, you can have a good life. So it all depends on, it's all about you learning how to save and balance your money and get things going. But there's a lot of opportunity. So everybody is different. But I just wanted to say MIG money coming into 2022 is something you should consider. Even once you learn it independently, you can make things out of MIG. MIG welding is where it's at because of the economics of it. Is you can spin a spool of wire and you can make a lot of products with that one spool. So just think of it on being environment friendly, something easy to work on. Once you get it, man, family, I can't express how having a good wire machine has changed my life on fabricating. And I got a few of them. I got two of them actually. And I just wanted to say that when it comes to fabricating, welding, MIG welding can open up a door for you. It can actually make products, get you a job, start you a business. And I can't lie to you. It can get you a job, it can make you a product, it can start you a business. MIG money. I mean, just realistic with you. You don't have to know no other process right now. If you don't learn nothing else but MIG welding, I think it can take you through the rest of your life, because there's so many processes you can do with MIG now, without gas, with gas. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a good process for us to learn. Plus, it's not real hard. It doesn't take up a lot of time, and you can be skilled in that. And it doesn't take a lot of time for you to become to me, a master MIG welder. You know what I mean? Because you can really, the more practice make perfect, but you need to learn. One thing I want to say this: I watched some gentlemen do some practicing, and if you're practicing but you don't know where you're going wrong, you just burn up a lot of time and burn up a lot of material. But if you are practicing and you got an instructor or someone who can say, hey, if you tilt this to a 15-degree angle, if you bring your nozzle tip down some and keep at least no greater gap than a half inch, you'll have better coverage and you won't be getting pinholes. If you stay consistent, so it's certain tricks you take that can actually open up the door for you. Welding engineering is good. I'm a welding engineer. It just depends on what field you're going in, but anything to do with welding, I most definitely think it is. If you're going to get into the welding education, if you're going to get into the welding engineering of parts and making sure everything, the procedure is right, but most definitely there's money into it. I believe, what is that, maybe a 4-year course probably. If you're taking it through a college, it's probably a 4-year course. But anything to do with welding, from here on out, it's going to be a demand, family. Everything it requires of different alloys and metals to be welded and jointed together. And when it comes to traveling and, like I say, making any type of product, welding is where it's at. And the thing about it, once you learn the skill, a lot of people want to move and relocate and get themselves and their families in a better position. You can do that with welding. You can be from a rural area. You can go to a nice city or a nice developed area and have a better life for yourself. Welding. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I was exposed to some information that's in Dumas that I didn't know anything about this company. And I didn't know that the company did that much welding in what they was making. Okay, associate degree is 2 years. Okay. Yes, but I will say this. If you're taking that, that's going to be more of, you know, most engineers when they do, most engineers don't jump straight into the field. It's more like office or supervising CWI type thing. So it all depends on how you want to do it or what approach you want to take. But there is money. But there's a lot of money, most definitely, on getting hands-on, learning some from teaching it, from being able to break down the processes of it. It's just a need because they need welders, they need CWIs, they need instructors, they need MIG and TIG and stick welders, so they need fabricators. So it's a broad field, family. And I think that we just have to just make our mind up and say, hey, I want to do this one or that one. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to say, as one of the easiest processes, in my personal opinion, is MIG welding. And it can actually change your life. It can open up a great door for you. Many, 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 many opportunities for MIG welders, from like fabricating, manufacturing, and repairing. I actually got a call today to do some welding on an exhaust, to weld in some flow masters on the exhaust. MIG welding, family. I'm gonna do it with a MIG. I'm gonna MIG weld them in there. So if he come by, I cut it out, put the new flow masters in, MIG weld it up, and send him on his way. But I wanted to say that having that process can open up so many doors, and it can actually help you establish a business, get a job once again, or make a product. So I've been thinking about some dog kennels too. Actually got a few people who have brought me some ideas on some gentlemen that's really needing them, and they have to go so far outside the area to get them, what the price range is now. And I'm like, hey man, I can build them. I can build them right where we're sitting at. So I wanted to start off doing some salute, man. I appreciate that donation, man. Thanks for checking in. Where you working in? It's crazy that you say that, man. I haven't welded on the shipyard, but I can. I do. I have had a few people that I have met that welded on shipyards, but they do use MIG and flux core process on there because they use post MIG too because it's also it welds hotter and you're dealing with half-inch steel to an inch steel. You know what I mean? It's always heavy metal, and the meat process is a lot easier. I don't know what type of experience is as far as how they are. I have had them contact me to try to get me out there on the East Coast to weld on some or to be a supervisor on some. So I have never took up the opportunity a lot some reasons because it was government jobs and a lot of them was real strict and I am an ex-felon so I am an ex-felon so some of them frowned on that even though it's been 20 years ago, you know what I mean? So it all depends on your background, but I have talked to people that said they made good money. The per diem was good. And one thing I can say, when the company is in a real good need, in a big need, if you would if you will come through and show them that you're an asset, they're always gonna make it easier on you because they don't want to run off good people. So if you're good at what you're doing and you show up and show out, my instructor told me, man, never talk about what you can do. Just show them what you can do. I always say, hey, man, I can hold my own. You know what I mean? So, I would say get some little practice in, man. But it's good money right now. I know they paying very well. Some of them even paying a lot of them paying per diem, food, wages, all type of stuff. And I think in Newport, most definitely, because I seen in Newport, Virginia, where they was actually in some other places too, North Carolina too. You know what? You do learn all of the different welding processes, but I don't know if they teach you. Now, I learned all the processes, but I don't know if that school that you're going to is actually going to teach you how to MIG weld, flux core weld, and TIG weld in all positions. Some of them only, some schools give you some hands-on, but it'd be more books and terminology if you're going to be more in the office or examining plates, so more mathematical. So it depends on what side you're going in. But I have seen some that can do everything. Then I have seen some welding instructors that couldn't even weld. You know what I mean? They could weld a little bit, but they wasn't no good welders. You know what I mean? Now I done seen some CWIs that were some good welders, and I done seen some that wasn't. You know what I mean? They can tell you, oh man, something wrong with this. That don't look right. They know exactly what it needs to look like and how it should look, but they don't really just know how to go about doing it. You know what I mean? So I would say if you're going to be a good welding engineer, learn the processes, and people will respect you more. You'll get more out of the people you're working with if you could actually do what you're talking about. Oh, no problem, man. I appreciate it. Like I say, I think that that's what we're here for. Each one teach some. And I like to say each one teach some because we so behind right now. Each one teach one is not gonna help us. We ain't gonna get nowhere. We gotta teach. I gotta teach at least 3 to 5 to 10 at a time, you know what I mean? Or get in front of a bigger audience where we can actually assist more. So I just want to come through today, ask a few questions, hopefully drop some jewels, hopefully let people know that MIG welding is great money entering 2022. So if you're thinking about a welding career and you want to get into the field to see if this is something for you, try MIG welding first. Sometimes stick welding can be a little too much poppy for some people, a little too dirty, and TIG welding might be a little too hard of a process for you. But MIG welding, come on, man. I think you can come in and you can get it. And if you already know how to stick weld, MIG welding gonna be like going from a Pinto to a Cadillac. You was riding, you was getting by, but now you like, shoot, I'm riding now. You know what I mean? You kick your feet up, and even some MIG guns and newer ones, they got set triggers where once you set them, you can set them and just hold it. You ain't even got to use no muscle no more. You just hold the gun and just let it do its thing. So the process is incredible. But I really feel that coming into this year, even now, like I say, I've been talking to Safe Holland, went up there, did a weld test. I'm in this area. It's been slow, real slow for me right now. And for those who don't know, I've been doing my mom's house renovations, trying to get some classes going, get some business going, but it's slow and I'm in a new area. So hog on, XL Flooring, what's going on, Alabama? Checking in, Mobile. Right now things have been a little slow, so I've been trying to keep some things going. So the people actually email me. They email me an opportunity to help them come in and do some welding and also later some teaching because they need help in that area too. So, since I'm here, it's maybe a few minutes down the street from me. Seems pretty cool. I'm like, hey, I ain't doing nothing right now. Let's try it out. So, I love to say, I always talk about ATM money. So I'm gonna go check it out and see how the facility is. But it's right down the street from me. Like I say, right now, I've been throwing so much money into these renovations. And when you're spending money, and you never replace it, it disappears. And then I got other things on my plate I'm trying to deal with. So, I'm trying to kill several birds in one stone. And since I'm here, I done had a few people reach out to me on classes, independent classes, so I should be having some soon. Most people are waiting till the beginning of the year to get their Christmas, get their stuff out the way, to get their money right. So I should have some classes coming up soon. But my goal is to work on some products. So I want to build some of my own independent products. But right now, I'm trying to figure out the direction, what the need is in the area. And right now, I was offered an opportunity that I feel that I can actually be able to gain some more students from, get a get some ties with a company that actually is growing and going places, and I can expand my horizon. So I'm gonna try it out, and I'm gonna tell y'all about it. But the opportunity literally is MIG welding, no flux coring, just MIG welding, posts, and majority of it's on heavy steel. I think nothing over a half inch. So don't count me on that, but that's what I think, maybe 5/8. But I will find out for sure. But most of the things on heavier plate. That's why I put that picture up. It was actually a container that they had full of test plates from testing and practicing and working on the process that they do majority of the time. And as we know, practice make perfect. But if you're practicing, like I said, and you're doing something wrong and you don't know where you're going wrong at, you can practice for weeks and you be like, man, I've been practicing for weeks and I still can't get it. And it might just be one thing or two things you need to do. And that's where a good welding instructor come in at. That's where a good welding engineer come in. They can see the issue and say, okay, do this, do that, it'll correct that problem. And being a good welding engineer, a good welding instructor, that helps people out. So my goal is to help kill several birds with one stone. Like I say, I have some things I'm working on, and I think that I can use this MIG money to help open up a door for me too. So I'm trying to do a few things, but it takes money, it takes time. And when you're building, especially when you're building independently, you understand that a lot of times you're gonna be doing a lot on your own until you get to the point where you can replace yourself. Because our goal is to get the company going, where you can move out the way and let it, let it do its own thing. But until that time comes, you got to get the bag. You got to stay on the ground. You got to make something happen. So I'm gonna do what I can. So I should be, like I said, I'm gonna be giving y'all some updates. Should be going in Monday, networking with them, seeing how that goes. So I'll be giving you updates on how the first day went, what the situation is, what I was working on, stuff like that. And my goal is to use this opportunity to open up some more doors from different areas. But I know one thing, that MIG money has always helped me out. Anytime, family, I have hit a rough spot in life since I have been out of prison, welding has always opened up a door for me, family. I can't lie to you. So it's not like having a job when you're a welder. You got a career and you can literally go anywhere. And you got to remember, when it comes to money and price and how much you get paid, you got to be your own negotiator. Even though you get a job, you're still independent, you're still representing you. So if you agree to certain things, then if a person know you'll take certain things, they're gonna say, okay, that's what we're gonna give you. So stand up for what you want and how much money you want, and if it's fair, do your part. Show them better than you can tell them. And I think I love to say this because actions would always speak louder than words, family. And I just want to encourage you, if you do start off at a certain point, it'll always get better. My first job, before I let you go, I was starting out, coming out of prison. After I did that 10 years, my first job, I was making $8 an hour. And you know what I was doing? MIG welding. It's funny that I said I was MIG welding. I was MIG welding and TIG welding. But I was MIG welding with a spool gun on aluminum. And I want to say this. It took probably about 2 weeks. I was making $8. In about 2 weeks, the people called me and said, "Hey, Joe, we've been watching you. The floor man been checking you out, and we want to take care of our people, so we're gonna give you a raise." I said, "All right, I appreciate that." He didn't tell me how much, but we was getting our check, and he said, "All right, it'll be on your check when you get your new check. It already be in." I said, "Okay." And I got my new check, family. I went from $8 to $10, man. And I don't know about you, but $2 is a pretty good jump. I felt good, you know what I mean? So from going from 8 to 10 in the town I was at, I was actually in Newport, Arkansas. So I actually, when I left there, I think I was making, when I left Newport, I was making $14 or $15. I made it to $15. I think I made it $15 when I left Newport. Yeah, I made it to 15. And then from there, I went up and up. But in Arkansas, I can be honest with you and say, I haven't made working for a company in Arkansas. Let me make sure, let me say that. Working for a company that's from Arkansas, in Arkansas, I haven't made over $20 an hour. That's the most I've made as a welder, as a black welder. It's $20 an hour. Now, working for a company that wasn't from Arkansas, that was in Arkansas, the most I had made was $28, and that was being a field welder. Now, in Arkansas, using my rig, being independently, I had made $50 and $65 an hour. Normally, 65 if I'm traveling and using welding and cutting, and depends on within the vicinity, it was $50 an hour. So I charged anywhere from $50 to $65 an hour with my rig in Arkansas. So that's what I have done. So I just wanted to kind of share some of them numbers to let you know, if you're thinking about becoming a welder, I think it's great. I think there's many doors. And with the prices of the new units that they got out, Lincoln got one. They don't support me. They don't send me nothing free. Well, I do get some posters. They do hook me up with some posters. I have to write them. They did send me some posters, but I don't get no equipment. But I like Lincoln welding equipment, especially for beginners, for fabricators. I think you can get you a good Lincoln machine, a good 180, and do some nice fabrication with a good 180 machine, honestly. I have a 180 and I have a Lincoln 140, the new 140 that's multi-process. And I want to say it's around, I don't know what it is. It might be a little cheaper right now, but I spent maybe $1,100-$1,200 on this unit for everything. That was for the foot pedals and everything. Great, great, great unit. And for the price, man, you can't beat it. I made my money back within 2 months. You know what I mean? I had already made my money back. So I just wanted to say, for those who are thinking about it, MIG money, MIG money. I want to say, you know what, we should make a song up, call it MIG money, because that's what it's going to be at this year. Like, I'm going to have a lot of people going to be talking about MIG welding, from fabricating to making different products. And man, that's just where it's at. So if you want to get into some money this year, coming up year, you want to change your life, you want to be able to set a different stone, I really believe you can go and jump into MIG welding, and you can make anywhere starting out between 30 and 40 grand. That's good money starting out. I mean, I don't know where you from, but starting out, that's pretty good. And then the cool thing about it, as you get better, your money gets up. So you can start off, look, the most I had made as far as a welder period is $30 working for somebody. That was working for somebody that's a foreman. So I started out at $8, went to $30, family, welding, a trade that I learned from prison. So you can do anything with it. It's all based on the person. But I will say this, I have made more money personally with MIG welding and stick welding. Changed the game for me. What's going on? Checking in. So like I said, man, I just want to come through, go live for a second, talk about MIG money, because I think we need to know where the money is. I don't care where you at, what state you're in. see if it's some MIG welding going on. Most people got some type of fabrication product, somebody doing something. MIG welding is a good way to get in. MIG welding is a good way to learn welding. MIG welding is a good way to actually start a business too. So to me, I think MIG welding can be killing one bird with several stone, killing several birds with one stone, because you can get the job from MIG welding, you can make a product from MIG welding, and then you can start a business. So you get three things you can do with it, and it doesn't take a lot of time. You just got to be hungry. So like I say, I'm in Southeast Arkansas right now. Dumas actually have a few things jumping from Dumas. Salute. Dumas have a few things jumping, and I was amazed at the way the company was set up with the welding. It had a lot of it was a lot of African Americans that worked there. I seen a lot of everybody there, so it was cool to see the mixture of people. And the products was nice. The products was very professional and thought out and laid out. And then I found out that also this is a union company, and I didn't even know that, family. I didn't find that out until doing the paperwork, sitting down talking, because I was like wondering why it was set up the way. I'm like, oh, like get it now. So I'm gonna see what it's talking about. I don't know exactly what kind of union, but they do have a union, and they also are readjusting everything, because, like I say, most companies gave tremendous raises to their employees this year and coming into next year. In Arkansas, I found out that the minimum wage here now is $11. So the minimum wage is 11, and I was in Georgia. I think the minimum wage in Georgia was like 7.40, I believe. I think Oklahoma's was like 7.25. Phoenix is $11. I think Phoenix is $11, $12, something like that. But the minimum wage in certain places are very low. So I would also think of that when you're doing your homework on where you at, see what the minimum wage for the state is. That helps people determine on how much they pay people. It depends on the need of what they're doing. And they say, hey man, I really need this person. I'm willing to give this. And so it makes sense now that in this state, it says the national, I want to say, I can't remember what the national average was, but I want to say it was around $20 an hour. 22, something like that. It's between 20 or 22. It was the national welding average throughout the U.S. of those who actually making money. So depends on what area you're in, because some places pay more than others. But like I say, the minimum for the average for Arkansas was around 16. They said if you was making around 16, you was winning in Arkansas. They said the average pay, the top 20% was around 20 to 23, I believe, 20 to 22. And then, the lower percent of welders. So welding is a great opportunity, family. It all depends on where you at. But once you learn, if you're in an area where they're not paying good, relocate yourself. Go somewhere where where it's happening at. Go somewhere where you can actually make it happen at. Make sure I read everybody comment before I leave. Kenya checking in. Like I say, I just wanted to get some information. I think it's very important that we would take advantage of the MIG welding process, because MIG welding is where it's at, family. MIG welding is where it's at. I can't stress it. I can't stress it enough because of what I'm seeing. And you know how they say, if you can see something and you can prevent a person from getting into a situation and you didn't say nothing, it's like their blood is on your hands. You know what I mean? And I see coming into 2022 throughout that welding is going to change some lives. It's really going to help some people. It's really going to be a need. Prices is going to go up. More demands, certain areas. Maybe more restrictions on certain things. But I think if you take advantage of it now, start learning. Go on and jump into this now. It can change you. You can use it as a stepping stone, because it might not be something you want to do for the rest of your life, but you can use this to start your business. You can use this to get your clothing company, to get your other, whatever you're trying to do, whatever your stocks in line, whatever you want to do to enjoy your life and your leisure time. Welding can make you happen. And MIG Welding is where it's at, family. One of the easiest processes. So I just want to say, check out the website for those who haven't checked out the website, www.hogonwelding.com. That's www.hogonwelding.com for those who want some welding skids. I actually sell welding skid prints on there where you can build your own. And I sell those prints for $100. You can get a vertical and a horizontal. For those who like the gear, go to check out Amazon. I got them all on Amazon. You can get the zip hoodies or the regular hoodies. The hoodies run around 34, I believe 30 to $34, something like that. They're under $40. So I got the hoodies, t-shirt, long sleeves. Don't have any hats on there. I had all these personal made, ran out of them. But for those who want to support the movement, man, I really do appreciate it. I also want to give a shout out for all of those who watch the commercials. Just want to say, for those who can't support on any other end, watching the commercials really do help. It helps get my numbers up when you share it, when you hit the like button. So I will say, please hit the like button, please share, keep the information going, keep it relevant, and so that way we can keep getting the hog on. I appreciate y'all time. Keep being blessed and prosperous. Black Feniks.